FORA.tv. The world is thinking.
Dell, number one, had people blog, like Richard at Dell. Number two, they went out and created, or they had technicians go out and read bloggers' problems and then fix them. Imagine what happened. The bloggers now blogged, shit, you won't believe what happened. Dell fixed my problem. Wow, right? Great stuff happened. That's why they're all on Twitter, these Comcast and all these companies. This weekend, to use Steve's line, bitch meme that I kind of accidentally started was I got my new Kindle and I was having trouble making it work. And you know, the problem with Kindle is it's so immediate. So I was on there blaming the Kindle. It was not Kindle's fault. I'm sorry, Amazon. Sell my book, please. I'm sorry. It was actually Sprint's fault. Now Sprint has somebody on. I said, aha, it's Sprint. When I went up the street, it worked. And now Sprint has somebody who's watching Twitter. But his response was so phone company. It was, well, it's not our problem. We didn't have a network outage. You should be calling Amazon. You know, you were better off not Twittering, fella. You know, you just acted like a phone company again. You got to listen, not just give me, let me explain, sir, our policy. No! Let me explain my policy, right? So, nobody ever wants to hear my policy. So when Dell also started Dell Idea Store, using a platform from Salesforce, the Ideas platform from Salesforce.com, which has since been used by the Obama administration. But in the meanwhile, Starbucks has used it. And what happens at Starbucks is customers come in. Anybody seen my Starbucks idea? Okay, some of you have. Well, I'll explain the rest. You go to my Starbucks idea and you make suggestions to the company. Now, we've always had suggestion boxes, but the important difference here is it's in public. And so somebody came in and said, you know what I really want? I want to take my card, and instead of just having my money on it, I want my drink order on it. And when I come in, I want to waive it. And my money goes out, my drink order goes in, I go around to the end, and I get my drink. And there were 3 or 4 ideas somewhat like that. And what I realized was the customers were coming in and they were complaining about the lines at Starbucks, but not one of them complained. There was no bitch me mean stuff going on, right? Instead, given the opportunity, knowing they'd be heard, knowing they'd be part of a discussion, knowing the employees were there and were treating them seriously, they suggested things. They were there to help. Hi, I'm your customer, I'm here to help. Right? That's pretty amazing, but you've got to have the means to listen. You've got to hear that they don't like the lines. You've got to hear that I want that 39-cent plug in there. Now, Google is not exactly the most transparent company on earth, but one thing about them that is very transparent is their habit of releasing betas. And it's a really important thing. When they release a beta, what they're really saying is, this product is unfinished and imperfect. Help us complete it. That is an act of transparency. It is an act of humility and humanity and imperfection. And how many other companies can do that? Now, I don't want to fly in a jet with a beta engine or drive a car that's still in beta, but I do want to open up that process as early as possible and get the intelligence of the people. I speculate in the book about remaking restaurants this way. I still want the chef to make my meal. She still decides, but if she could hear the people in the room with suggestions, wouldn't that be better? So being a beta, how do brands stop acting in their advertising as if they're perfect? Because that's what you had to do. In fact, the whole means of production and distribution, Herr Marx, was that we got one chance to make this right, whether it's a newspaper or a car, we are going to act like it's perfect. Well, it's not. Never has been, never will be. It's a process. How do we get away from product think into process think? And when you do that, when you open up as a beta, you thus inevitably become collaborative. Right there. Because you can now hear, because you're going to act on that if you're anybody but Sprint, you are collaborating.